December, we've been just doing the first verse of Silent Night, which you all know. So I invite you to just take a few nice deep breaths.
Centered space. And you can take a deep cleansing breath. And then just allow your breath to fall into its normal rhythm. And put your attention on your breathing. You might feel coolness at the tip of your nose as you breathe in. And you might notice that it's warmer upon your exhale. And just for a moment, we're going to sit in the stillness and keep our attention on that breath of life breathing us. Notice where your attention is. Did your mind drift? So many people decide to give up on meditation because they think, I can't still my mind. But the mind chatters. That's what the brain is designed to do. And every time we bring our attention back to the present moment, that we can find in the breath, it's exercising our brain and teaching our brain to have more peace. So I'd like to ask you to put your hands palm up on your lap. And I want you to focus your attention on the palms of your hands. And I want you to just notice, how do the palms of your hands feel? You might notice a buzzing, or a tingling, or heat, or pressure. And even if you just don't notice anything, putting your attention on the palms of your hands brings you to the present moment. So again, we're going to take a breath or two while we put our attention on the palms of our hands. And again, notice where your attention is. Were you able to keep your focus on your hands? Or did your mind drift? It's okay if it drifts. That's what the brain does. We just want to train it towards the peace. Encourage it towards the peace of the breath, the peace of the stillness of this now moment. I'll invite you to take one more deep, deep cleansing breath. And on the end of the out breath, you may open your eyes.
See wind made
Hello, all you love lights. My name is Bonnie O'Boyle, and the music here at Unity is one of the biggest blessings in my life. And it makes us feel better. It makes us feel peace. And I am very proud to inform you here today that I have been attending Unity for 25 years. Yeah, and I was a YOU sponsor with the teenagers for 10 years. And do you know what that means? That means I'm a personal growth junkie. Because we have workshops, and we have book studies, and we have conferences, and we have YOU rallies. And all of the amazing growth experiences and the talks that I've heard over these 25 years have made me the strong, confident, peaceful, and happy person that I am today. Yay. And so I thought I would share with you some of these blessings that I've learned over the years. And this really hit home with me at a silent retreat I attended this year. I love going to silent retreats. I love to meditate a lot. And before the silent retreat, I asked Spirit to give me what I call a teaching dream. And that's where Spirit gives you a dream that you can kind of mull over and learn from and grow from. And so the night before the retreat, I went to bed and I had this dream. I had a dream that I was in a swimming pool with me and my kids, and they were teenagers or young adults at the time. And we were playing and frolicking and having fun and splashing each other. And then my son got out of the pool and he sat on one of the pool chairs, and he could hear something that my daughter and I couldn't hear from into the pool, and he goes like this, he goes, "Wow, I wouldn't want to go over there." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I got out of the pool and I went over and I listened towards the guest house where he was gesturing, and there was breaking of glass, there was screaming, it sounded like total chaos. So I decided, because my parents were over there, that I needed to go check it out. When I came into this house, the whole house was destroyed. There was broken glass everywhere, like everything was in upheaval, except that my dad and my stepdad were sitting on one couch talking through things, and my mom and my stepmom were sitting on another couch talking through things. And I looked at them and I said, "I'm glad you guys are okay. None of this matters. All that matters is that everybody's okay." And my dream ended. And so I know, because I like looking up interpretations for my dreams, I know that water is either emotion or spirituality. And I know that houses are your sense of self. But I hadn't really come across broken glass before, so I looked it up on my little Dream Moves app. And I discovered that if you dream about broken glass, it's a symbol that something has shattered you, or that there's something that has shattered your life. And I'm like, no, that doesn't fit, because I have a pretty darn good life. I have a great job. I have fantastic friends. I have wonderful kids that are doing really well in life. And so I went into this silent retreat pondering this dream. And I'm sitting here in a chant of Om Namah Shivaya, and it hit me that I was sitting in a room with Catherine Ginling, who was my son's Sunday school teacher when she was little, with Mary Lightheart, who was my daughter's Sunday school teacher when she was little, and with Marion Boland, who was both of their school nurses the whole time they were growing up. And I realized that the broken glass was my shattered childhood. And that the spiritual community that I had bathed my son and daughter in had protected them and protected me from passing on the generations of abuse that had happened in my family. And that we had grown up having happy lives together, and that they're doing well because they grew up in the spiritual community of Unity. And that is such an incredible blessing to me, that we were able to escape that, right? And now I am a mental health therapist for my day job. I love being a therapist. And interestingly, in therapy, especially in dialectical behavior therapy, they're teaching their clients all of the things that we've been learning at Unity for decades. And there's science to back it up. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the science of why do we meditate. How many people here are daily meditators? That's wonderful. I'm glad that we have quite a few people here who meditate daily. I'm going to attempt to convince the rest of you that it might be a good thing for you to meditate 5 to 10 minutes a day. And this is why. When you meditate for 5 to 10 minutes a day for 6 weeks or more, after 6 weeks, on a brain scan, things start to change. Just like if you were working out and your muscles started getting bigger, through meditation and mindfulness, our brain changes. And this is what happens. The prefrontal cortex grows. It gets a little bit bigger. And that's the logical part of your brain. That's the part of your brain that can keep you calm. After 6 weeks of meditation, the amygdala of your brain shrinks a little bit. Now that is where we have our fight, flight, or freeze, right? Back in the caveman days, we needed to be able to freeze or run or fight to survive, but we don't really need that anymore. Not always, not as much as it activates in our brains, right? And so that gets a little bit smaller. The communication pathways between those two parts of the brain become stronger. So your logical brain can calm down your emotional brain. And then the anterior cingulate cortex thickens. And what the ACC does is it holds us back from impulsivity. So it's like the friend that's holding you back from getting in a fight while your other friend, the prefrontal cortex, tries to talk some sense into you, right? So we got all the good parts of the brain getting bigger. And not that the emotional part of the brain is bad. It keeps us alive. It keeps us safe. But it gets smaller, so we have more control over ourselves. And through mindfulness, if you don't know what it is, it's being in the present moment and observing your thoughts in a non-judgmental way, basically. So our body is always in the present moment. Our brain looks to look at the future and the past, but our body, our 5 senses, our 6 senses actually, always are in this present moment. And then we can observe our thoughts. And in Unity, we have Unity principle number 3, right? Thoughts held in mind produce after their own kind. Thoughts that we hold in our mind create the emotions that we feel. That's what we teach in counseling. But then that also changes your behavior. And then that reinforces the positive thought. And all of that together can change your life, right? We do project our thoughts out into the world. And so we want those to be positive thoughts so that we're creating positive experiences for ourselves. Now, so I always like to say that your brain is like having a little puppy. If you don't train your puppy, it's going to pee on your carpet. If you don't train your brain, it's going to pee on your thoughts. And then you'll get what Reverend Annette calls pissosity. And, and then you'll have lots of negative thoughts running around in your brain. But we can train our brain through different principles. One of these is called fusion and diffusion, cognitive fusion and diffusion. Now, cognitive fusion, and you guys probably have experienced this at some time in your life, is when your thoughts are so big and so crowded in your head that you can't see past them, and they seem like reality. Anybody had that experience before where your thoughts are just chattering at you and you can't get them to stop? Okay. So that is called cognitive fusion. The remedy to that is something called cognitive diffusion. And interestingly, I learned about cognitive diffusion first from Reverend Annette after she came back from a meditation retreat. And she came back saying, I've learned to label my thoughts. So, that's a worrying thought. That's a planning thought. That's an angry thought. And we just kind of label our thoughts. It seems very simple, but it gives us some space. We can also get some space from our thoughts by labeling it as just a thought. I'm just having the thought that person doesn't like me. The event is that they maybe stopped, didn't come to see me when I invited them, and I might think they don't like me, but that's not the case. It could be something else, but we automatically have automatic negative thoughts in our head that keep us thinking that negative thing. We can reframe and actually cognitively restructure our brains through positive thoughts. Abraham Hicks talks about reaching for a thought that feels better, right? And that's what we do. We have the thought, the person didn't come when I invited them, and we have this automatic negative thought that they don't like us, but we can put the other thought, they're probably busy, or they probably are an introvert and they need some downtime, or whatever. We can install a new thought. The cool thing is that when you do that day after day after day, over time, your brain gets stronger neural pathways to the positive thoughts than to the negative. Now, does the negative go away? No, because we have had brains wired towards looking at the negative ever since the caveman days. We didn't want to forget where the saber-toothed tiger's territory was so we could stay away from there. We had to focus on the negative. And our brains focus on the negative because there's problem solving there, right? We want to solve those problems. But we have to train our brain against that because there's no more saber-toothed tiger. And we're running around in a saber-toothed tiger kind of mode a lot of the time. So I want to tell you that this reframing is very much like Unity Principle number 4. When we do affirmative prayer, we're affirming the things we want in our life, therefore we're pulling them closer to us. But the ultimate reframe can be found in Unity Principle number 1 and number 2. God is everywhere and God has our back. God is here, good, and always working for us. And that divine presence is within us. So we're creating our own reality. What a crazy cool reframe. You can apply that to every situation you're ever in. I was in a car wreck, in a neck brace, parked in a hallway waiting for an x-ray singing, I am so blessed. Because I knew I wasn't alone. I felt alone, and then I remembered, oh, God is everywhere. God is always present. God is here with me. I am fine. I am just fine sitting in this hallway in a neck brace waiting for an x-ray. And I was just fine, by the way. But also, Unity, and especially working with the YOUers, has taught me the value of service. And random acts of kindness are something that we teach in counseling to help elevate mood. When we do kind acts for other people, it makes us feel better. We're not doing it for them, we kind of are, but it makes us feel better. My favorite random act of kindness is putting a coin in a candy machine for a little kid. Because in my pocket, it's just a quarter, but in that candy machine, it just became a jackpot, and therefore I'm more prosperous, right? I left a jackpot for somebody. So I love doing random acts of kindness. And in order to go to the YOU rallies, the kids have to do service projects. They have to have a certain number of service hours to be eligible to go to those rallies. And so I've planted trees with the Illinois River Watershed Project. I've floated down rivers picking up trash. I've picked up trash at parks. I've picked up trash at Mike's Booze and Barbecue. I've picked up a lot of trash. I've picked up a lot of trash in volunteering. And also at Unity of Bentonville, we have what we call clerk days, which are play and work combined, and we go out and we work the grounds. Now this helps us with something else that we teach in counseling that's beneficial to the mind and to the mood, and that's green time, time outside, and exercise. All of these things give us all these feel-good chemicals for our brain so that we can have a more joyful life. And so we can have the peace that we all deserve. Isn't that cool? All right, let's see what's next. The next thing that I learned from the YOUers was playfulness. Now these kids were always wanting to play games and have fun, and so I did a lot of lessons with games. And there is an actual game designer named Jane McGonigal who does a great TED Talk. And in this TED Talk, she talks about how powerful it is to play. And as adults, sometimes, because as a kid we were told, sit down, stop that, sit down, stop that, we have forgotten how to play. And we've forgotten how powerful it is when we do play. And Jane says that there was a study done by hospice workers, and they talked about the 5 biggest regrets of people who are on their deathbed. Regret number 1 was that they wish they had worked less. The opposite of work is play, right? So if we want to have less regrets, we want to play more so we can work less. The second regret was, I wish I had spent more time with family and friends. Well, when we're playing a game, in general, we're not doing it by ourselves. Some people do play games by themselves, but oftentimes we pull other people in, either at a distance through a video game or a board game. We sit and visit with people, we get to know people. Plato said you can learn more about a person in 1 hour of play than in a lifetime of conversation. Yeah, and so we learn about the people in our lives through playing games with them. People regretted that they wished that they had allowed themselves to be happier. Now, there was an interesting study that Jane quotes at Brigham Young University where they tested whether video games or pharmaceuticals worked better for depression and anxiety, and found that video games outperformed pharmaceuticals to make people happy. Isn't that interesting? Pretty cool how playfulness can help us. People wished that they had been allowed themselves to be their true self. And when we have an avatar in a video game, that's like our idealized self. And so that helps people to be more true to themselves. And the last regret of the dying was that they wish they had been true to themselves and not other people's expectations. Now, how many times have you heard somebody say, put down that work and start playing? No, people don't say that. Everybody's trying to get us to do something for them, to work more, to work harder, to become more. But when we play, we can just be. We can just have fun. So you guys want to play around with this a little bit? I have a game I brought. Okay. This is called The Invisible. And the game we're going to play is called Gratitude Toss. I love playing Gratitude Toss. You can play it through video. You can play it in person. And if you want me to pass you the invisible, I want you to put your hands up, and people will know that you want the ball if your hands are up in a receiving kind of mode. And I'm going to say a reason that I'm grateful, and I'm going to toss this ball to somebody, and then you say a reason you're grateful, and you toss it to somebody else until everybody's had a turn, and we'll have so much fun with this. Erica, I saw your hands go up first. Are you ready for this? All right, here we go. I am so grateful I get to come hang out with all of you love lights today.
I'm grateful for being here and having a community I can connect with, so thank you very much.
Grateful for a community she can connect with.
I'm grateful for 3 adorable dogs and a wonderful music partner over there.
3 adorable dogs and a wonderful music partner.
Yes.
Grateful for the day and for Bonnie.
Grateful for the day and for me. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Who else? Who else wants the ball? Put your hands up so he knows.
Well, I'm grateful for all my beautiful friends that I have in my life. I never think about saying that often enough, but I'm grateful for friendship.
Grateful for friendship.
I'm grateful for my wonderful husband, who is so supportive of everything I do.
Oh, wonderful husband, so supportive. Who else?
I'm grateful for all the twinkly lights up there.
Oh, the twinkly lights up here. Does that include me on a twinkly light?
Yeah.
Who else wants the ball? Oh,
Okay, throw the bar.
Barb, catch, Barb.
I'm grateful for Christmas carols and the ones that Christy picks out for us to sing every week.
Christmas carols, that's a good thing to be grateful for.
Sing of any kind.
Survive to this pandemic. Be alive for years.
Grateful to survive the pandemic. Yeah. There's somebody over here who wants the ball.
Can I do it?
Yeah, I think she'd do it to
My
you.
heart's broken, so
No, you that was a really great one-handed catch. I guess you're a football player, if you can do like a one-handed catch like that was great.
I'm grateful for all these wonderful people and for new experiences.
All of the wonderful people and new experiences. Who else wants the ball? Hold your hands up if you want the ball. Has everybody had a turn that wants a turn? All right, football player dude. Can you get it all the way back up here? Here we go. Oh, good throw. Yeah, I'm going to put it back in my pocket. So notice how you feel. Wasn't that fun? Every person in this room, whether you caught the ball or not, was completely engaged. I have a secret or a confession. There wasn't really a ball. But look at how you guys watch the invisible going around the room. When we play, we become fully engaged. And when we're engaged, we're in the present moment. When we're in the present moment, we can be happier. And I threw in the final principle that I'm going to talk to you about today, and that's gratitude, right? Gratitude is such a powerful force for changing our mood. We were talking about this neural pathway before, right? Somebody didn't accept our invitation, and I'm automatically thinking that they don't like me. My friend doesn't like me, he's not accepting, or she's not accepting my invitation. But you can have a neural pathway. I'm grateful that I get a little bit of time for me. I'm grateful that I get some time to hang out with my other friends. I'm grateful that this time apart from my friend, because if he couldn't get together this time, is going to make me more grateful for him the next time I see him, right? So gratitude is a powerful force for change. So I'd like to end today by saying how incredibly grateful I am that I have spent 25 years with the Unity community, because it has made me the person that I am today, this confident, happy, and fun-loving person that I am today. And because the Unity community has helped me through every hard time I have had over the last 25 years. But most of all, because the people at Unity have loved me so much that I've learned to truly love myself.
Amen. Amen.